I'm giving you guys my week 11 power rankings. Let's go ahead and start off with Cincinnati Bengals. They're on a bye week this week, so I'm just going to put them where I had them last week, and that is in that C category. I love what their offense is looking like with Joe Flacco, but it's just the defense is so bad that they can't compete in these games. I know Joe Burrow is going back to practice, and he said he's going to start before Thanksgiving, but to be honest, he can't play defense, so they're not going to be a good team. They have the New England Patriots, and I wanted to believe in them all this time, but honestly, if you looked at it, they had a really easy schedule. I only went up against another tough opponent in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since that Buffalo Bills game that they won, and to be honest, they looked amazing. I don't know how Drake May is going to do yet in the playoffs because this is rookie season. He hasn't played in a single playoff game, but I have a feeling that Mike Vrabel can calm his nerves down. I'm going to put him in an A category for the first time ever this season. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints defeated my Carolina Panthers this week, and even though they look great, I do think they found their quarterback one in Tyler Shaw now. I still don't think they're a great team, probably win one more game the rest of the season, so I'm still going to put them in D. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to talk crap about them a little bit because they were such a good spot running the AFC North, and they lost a couple of games that honestly, I think the Ravens are going to take over AFC North again very soon. The offense was looking good with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, but this last week was his worst game probably for his whole entire career. I think they're just going to have the regular old Pittsburgh Steelers season, go barely over 500, get into the playoffs, but lose in the first round. So I'm going to put them in the B category. Not terrible, but definitely not good neither. We have the San Francisco 49ers up next. I know they lost a big game. They are still 6-4, and I'm pretty sure they hold a wild card spot at this point. Still not a bad team, not a good team though. I'm going to put them in B, probably above the Steelers though. I do think they'll beat the Steelers pretty easily. The Arizona Cardinals up next. That offense had been looking miles better since Kyler Murray was out and Jacoby Brissett has been in. But they did run into a very tough opponent in the Seattle Seahawks this week and got dominated for most of this game. Even though they looked like a terrible team Sunday, I do think that was just the opponent they were going up against. It's actually not that bad of a team. I'm going to put them above the Bengals in C. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Honestly, this is one of the most confusing teams I've seen. I mean, they're on a 4-game losing streak. They barely lost to the Colts and Patriots, but then lost to the Dolphins 34-10. I just really don't know what to think about it. I'm going to put them in the middle category as well, right between the 49ers and Steelers. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens. I think everybody could feel the resurgence of the Baltimore Ravens coming once Lamar Jackson got back into the lineup. The offense is looking great. The defense, honestly, is looking a lot better, even though he doesn't even play defense. The only bad thing I'm going to hold against them is in their past 3 wins, they didn't really play anybody great in the Bears, Dolphins, and Vikings. Do I think the Baltimore Ravens can make a run with Lamar Jackson as the quarterback? Yes. Do I know that for sure? No. So I'm going to put them in A, but the very top of it, though. Then we have the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, with Josh Allen, they can do anything. That is the Superman of the NFL now. The rest of the team is so garbage. Like, their defense is not doing barely anything. Doesn't have any weapons on the offense besides for James Cook as his running back. I know everybody, including me, wants to put him in that Super Bowl category just because they have Josh Allen on the team, but the quarterback cannot do it all, and the rest of the team just isn't built up for it. So I'm going to put him in A, right behind the Patriots and Ravens. I do think the Patriots are going to win that division, looking at the Patriots' upcoming schedule and the Bills. Next up, we have my Carolina Panthers, and it's so difficult for this organization because it finally felt like they were starting to turn things around. Then they come out and play probably the worst game of their season against the New Orleans Saints, and obviously y'all know what I think about the New Orleans Saints. I have them in D. I really think the leaders of this team just took a deep breath and said, we're finally good now. We can sit back and relax, but that is not how the NFL works. You have to prep every single week like you're going up against the top team. I'm going to drop them down a lot further than I had them at the bottom of the C, but hopefully they learn from their mistake and actually prepare for the next games coming forward in the season. And if they do, I think we have a decent chance to win the division or make a wild card spot. Speaking of a wild card spot, next is a team that holds one of them in the Chicago Bears. I thought it would take a while for Caleb Williams to completely get into the Ben Johnson's offense, but it looks like all they needed was half of the season. Win 6 of their past 7 games. It's looking very good right now. Honestly, I think they're going to be in the playoffs, but still, I think they're a really good team. I'm going to put them in B above the Falcons. We have the Cleveland Browns up next, and honestly, I had some hope for this team because they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, but the way the offense looks under Dylan Gabriel, it honestly makes them like a bottom 5 team. I don't know if they should start Shedeur Sanders or not because I still don't even know if he can save the offense or not, but I'm going to put him in D right now. Easily one of the worst teams. Then we have everybody's favorite team in the Dallas Cowboys. They did have a bye week this week, so I'm going to put them in the exact same spot I had. That is in the B category, but I'm going to put them a lot further down than I did have them last week, under the Falcons now. I really do want to believe in this team because the offense is so explosive with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and even Javonte Williams is looking really good, but the defense just sells them so much. The Denver Broncos, and this is another very interesting team that I don't really know about yet because I do believe in Bo Nix, especially from what he did last season, and is looking decent this season. At the same time, I don't think that offense is putting up enough points to actually go head-to-head with these great teams. team. In the last 2 games, they played against the Texans and Raiders and only put up 15 and 10 points. I think they're a really good team that can make it into the playoffs, obviously, and make a deep playoff run. But for right now, I just don't trust in that offense to put them very high in this tier list. I'm going to put them in B above the 49ers. Detroit Lions are up next. I'm not going to put them in the S category just because their defense doesn't look the best, but I am going to put them in the very top of A. That offense looks a lot better since Dan Campbell has taken over offensive calls now, evidently. At the same time, they did play against one of the worst defenses to watch Commanders, so I would like to see how it's going to look going forward. That offense is going to keep them in any game. Just wish their defense was a little bit better, like I said. Tennessee Titans had a bye week this week, but I don't think anybody's going to question me putting them in the last spot of D. They're obviously one of the worst teams. Have been looking a lot better since they fired Brian Callahan, so hopefully their next head coach will actually have success on that team. We have the Green Bay Packers, and obviously they have one of the best defenses. I can't look at them as a Super Bowl team until this offense and Jordan Love's figure itself out. In the past 2 games, they lost both of those games, and the defense has held their opponents to 16 and 10 points, and they still did not win. So I really do think they have the potential to be an A or even S team if they do figure it out before the playoffs start. For right now, I just don't trust them enough. I'm going to put them in B above the 49ers. Now we have the Houston Texans. So I've been saying they are this close to actually popping off and looking like a really good team again because they barely lost to the Broncos by 3 points, beat the 49ers, and then lost to the Seahawks, only 8 points. I didn't know inserting Davis Mills into the offensive lineup is the one that was going to put them over the top. I think they have a potential to be a really good team and maybe win one game in the playoffs, but for right now, I just haven't seen enough yet, even though I think they're on the way up there. I still am going to put them in B, but under the Falcons now. The Indianapolis Colts are up next, and they have been looking amazing this season. Jonathan Taylor has been going crazy. Probably going to have one of the best running back seasons of all time when it's all said and done. Defense, Daniel Jones has been looking amazing. There's only one question I have about this team, and that comes from 2 weeks ago when they were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. They shut down Jonathan Taylor, and Daniel Jones did not look like himself. So my question is, when they get into the playoffs against some really good defense and they end up shutting Jonathan Taylor down, can Daniel Jones actually will this team into another win? I do think they're a really good team, but with that question, I can't put them too terribly high, so I'm going to put them in the top of B. Jacksonville Jaguars are up next, and honestly, this is one of my dark horse teams going into the season. Sometimes during the season, they've been looking like that. Other times, they have not been looking like a good team whatsoever. So I am going to put them in B because I do think they have some hope, but at the very bottom, let's shove it right above the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kansas City Chiefs had a bye week this week, so I'm going to put them where I had them last week, and that is an S. Even though they just lost to the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills aren't a great team, I still do think they're the one team that I do trust in the AFC out of all of them. We have the LA Rams. I've been telling you guys that Matthew Stafford is still a top quarterback in the NFL. Now that he's actually starting to put up some really good games, I think people are starting to see it. And with him and that young, hungry defense, I really do think they can go a long way in the NFL playoffs. And honestly, I think they could really make the Super Bowl, so I'm going to put them in the A category right behind the Bills. We have the LA Chargers. I know a lot of people are saying that this could be a Super Bowl type team too, but I just don't see it yet. I know they're on a 3-game winning streak. All 3 of those games weren't against very tough opponents. I do think they're on the right trajectory. I just don't think they're there yet. Put them in B right behind their AFC West opponent in the Denver Broncos. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins a little bit. They were looked at as one of the worst teams in the NFL. Everybody was calling for Mike McDaniel's job, but honestly, he has this team battling and most likely saved his job with a win versus the Buffalo Bills. And hey, I guess I don't blame him. I'm not saying he shouldn't be fired at the end of the season, but at least he has a little bit more time to prove that he should still have this job. Don't think they're a great team, but I think they're a lot better than they were a few weeks ago. I'm gonna put them in B, actually, right above the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people are picking on JJ McCarthy's little non-thing because he didn't look great against the Baltimore Ravens. Don't think they're a bad team though, but I don't think they're going to go to the playoffs and make a huge run or anything. I'm gonna put them in the very bottom of B. The New York Giants just fired their head coach and Brian Dable. I do think they're going in the right trajectory because Jackson Dart is obviously their quarterback of the future. That dude is a dog, but they still need to work out their defense because they is obviously one of the worst in the NFL. I'm going to put them in C right under my Panthers. New York Jets are up next, and even though they're on a 2-game winning streak now, I still do think they're one of the worst teams, so I'm going to put them in D right above the Cleveland Browns. That offense still hasn't found its footing yet. Justin Fields had 54 yards last week with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. I think I've seen a stat. If you take that one long reception from away from Breece Hall, he would have had 8 passing yards the whole game, and that is really bad, obviously. Las Vegas Raiders are on next, and they look terrible in Thursday Night Football. They look terrible the whole entire season. Still am going to put them in D, probably right above the New York Jets. We have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was buying in the Seattle Seahawks, but not to go on a deep playoff run because I didn't know how much Sam Darnold could do in the playoffs. At the same time, with all these weapons that he has and with his defense looking amazing, I now think that they can go on a deep playoff run. Even if Sam Darnold isn't playing the greatest, as long as he protects the ball, I'm going to put him in A, probably right behind the Patriots now. The Buccaneers are up next, and they're probably my favorites to still win the NFC South, but honestly, I don't think they're the same team since Mike Evans has been hurt. Baker Mayfield has not been looking at nowhere near the MVP type stuff that he was looking at the beginning of the season. Like I said, I still do think they are a really good team though, so I'm going to put them in B, probably right under the Bears. Philadelphia Eagles didn't score a lot of points in Monday Night Football. Their defense still looked really good. And if I had to pick one team in the NFC to make it all the way to the Super Bowl once again, it would be the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to put them in S as well, behind the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we have the Washington Commanders. With the Jaden Daniels, they weren't looking great. Now without him, they're looking even worse. I'm going to put them in C, right below the New York Giants. That's my Week 11 power rankings, everybody. Let me know what teams I put way too high and what teams I put way too low. But thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll check you guys out next time. Peace.